In 2024, the Chinese Communist Party, which seemed to have total control over China, finally lost its power. Years of quiet unhappiness, money problems, and a deep desire for freedom all came to a head. The CCP, once thought to be unbeatable, faced the anger of the people it had controlled for so long. News of the CCP's downfall spread quickly, causing celebrations all across China. The biggest celebration was in Tiananmen Square, the symbolic heart of China. Tiananmen Square, famous for the 1989 protests, was filled with millions of people. Their cheers of happiness were incredibly loud. Everyone felt a mix of joy, relief, and excitement. Flags and banners, symbols of a new beginning, waved in the air. The sad memory of the 1989 crackdown, which had haunted China for so long, finally went away. The people, brave because the CCP was gone, started to dream of a free and democratic future. During this exciting time, the People's Liberation Army, once a tool of the CCP, helped make sure the change of power was peaceful. The PLA realized things were changing and chose to side with the people. They kept the celebrating crowds safe and stopped things from getting out of control. The image of PLA soldiers standing arm in arm with regular people became a powerful symbol of this important moment. With the CCP gone, many Chinese people who had fled the country for their beliefs could finally come home. These people, who had been forced to live in other countries, returned to a China that now accepted their different opinions. Among them were important activists, thinkers, and artists who had been silenced for a long time. They brought new energy and ideas to the new democracy and were excited to help rebuild their country. When these people returned, China held its first democratic election. For the first time ever, Chinese people could choose their leaders. Everyone was excited as millions of people lined up to vote, ready to have their say. The election was a big success, with lots of people voting and a peaceful handover of power. The new government, called the New Federal States of China, had a big job rebuilding the country after decades of strict rule. This new government, believing in democracy and fair laws, started working on fixing problems and bringing people together. They wrote a new constitution that protected basic freedoms and rights. The leader of the New Federal States of China was the newly elected president, someone who represented the hopes of a new nation. This president, who came from the pro-democracy movement, had spent years fighting for human rights and democratic values. Their election showed a complete change from the past, starting a time of honesty, responsibility, and respect for human rights. Wanting to be different from the CCP, the New Federal States of China chose a new national anthem and flag. These symbols, chosen by people all over the country, showed what the new China wanted: freedom, unity, and progress. The new anthem, a beautiful song about hope and new beginnings, quickly made Chinese people feel proud. The changes in mainland China also made people in Hong Kong want freedom. The city, which had seen many protests for democracy, saw a chance to make its own choices. The fall of the CCP gave people in Hong Kong the courage to demand the self-rule they had been promised. One of the first things the new Hong Kong government did was free all the political prisoners. Jimmy Lai, a famous newspaper owner and supporter of democracy, and many others jailed under the unfair national security law, were released and celebrated. Their freedom showed Hong Kong's belief in justice and human rights, and people all over the world were happy. Inspired by the changes in mainland China, Hong Kong held a very important vote about its future. The world watched as the people of Hong Kong were asked a big question. Should they stay part of the New Federal States of China or become independent? The answer was clear. Most people in Hong Kong voted for independence. They wanted to be free from the past and control their own future. When the results were announced, people celebrated in the streets, happy about their new freedom. The end of the CCP and the start of democracy in China and Hong Kong wasn't just a political change, it was a time to think about right and wrong. The New Federal States of China, wanting to be honest and fair, put former CCP leaders on trial for their bad actions. These trials, which were open to the public, showed that everyone, no matter how powerful, has to follow the law. Former CCP leaders and Hong Kong officials who had helped the CCP silence dissent were accused of crimes like corruption and hurting people's rights. The trials, although sad, were important for remembering the past and making sure such terrible things never happened again. To remember the past and move forward, both China and Hong Kong built memorials for the people hurt by communism. These memorials, built in important places, reminded everyone of the terrible cost of oppression and how important it is to protect freedom and human rights. The end of the CCP and the changes in China and Hong Kong started a new chapter in their stories. It showed the strength of the human spirit, the desire for freedom, and the power of peaceful change. As both places faced the challenges and opportunities of their new freedoms, the world watched with hope, inspired by the courage of the Chinese and Hong Konger people.